Little girl gets lost in the woods before turning up in an unlikely place. Young children have a knack for suddenly vanishing. 1 second you're laying out a blanket for a picnic, and the next your toddler is running away to chase a leaf. And when 2-year-old Gabriella Vitale and some of her relatives visited the woods in Oscoda County, Michigan, she disappeared. Police officers and other officials searched the area but couldn't find Gabriella even as night fell. Against the odds, she turned up in the most unlikely place. On July 15th, the Vitales were packing up from their camping vacation in the Huron National Forest. They were in an area rich with natural beauty. Little did they know they wouldn't get to enjoy any of it. Soon the family realized Gabriella has wandered away while they were tearing down their site. They were horrified. The forest was a beautiful place to visit, but it was filled with danger for the lost girl. Coyotes, bobcats, and bears all lived in the woods. There were plenty of wetlands and swampy areas that she could get stuck in, and of course, rivers and lakes that could sweep her away. At 8:15 a.m., the Vitales contacted the police about Gabriella's disappearance. First, local officers arrived on the scene, but the search party ballooned to include Michigan State Police troopers, conservation officers, air crews, and police canines as the hours passed. The first find authorities found was a piece of Gabriella's clothing, her bright pink jacket. It was on the ground a few hundred feet away from the campsite. This didn't make the Vitales feel any better. Many amateur volunteers wanted to help but only got in the way. We're asking people to stay out of the woods in this area because we have active canines working, and we want to make sure the area is as clean as possible when it comes to scent, Michigan State Police Lieutenant Travis House said. The day fled away and night descended on the woods. Gabriella was still out there somewhere. The crew continued to search the area and didn't find any other sign of the little girl. Overnight, the temperature remained unseasonably warm for Gabriella. She was only in 72 degrees Fahrenheit conditions instead of the normal 56. Even still, she was a toddler alone in the woods. There was no telling what kind of condition she'd be in once they found her. Most of the search was in Huron National Forest, but 24 hours had passed, and despite the multi-unit team, Gabriella was still gone. These authorities wouldn't be the group to save her. 3 hours later, bringing this ordeal up to 27 hours in total, there was a twist for the worried family. A home in the area called to report that Gabriella had shown up on her front porch. During her wandering, Gabriella walked half a mile away from the campsite, onto the grounds of a local cabin. An Oscoda retreat group was staying in it and recognized the girl from local news stories. The group called the Department of Natural Resources to report their discovery, and Conservation Officer Lieutenant Brandon Kieft showed up to investigate. He confirmed they'd found the lost toddler. I asked her if she wanted to go see Mommy, and she lit up. She came right to me and gave me a big hug, Lieutenant Brandon said. He took her to the Natural Resources station where she ate a cookie and drank some water. Gabriella came through her ordeal in surprisingly good shape. She had a few bruises and cuts and had showed up only wearing a torn shirt, but was free of any major injuries. She was also in a great mood. Gabriella seems relatively unfazed for a 2-year-old who's been in the woods overnight, said Lieutenant Travis. When she was found, she was happy and interacted with her rescuers. Gabriella seems to have gone on an adventure through the woods. After Gabriella was reunited with her family, they took her to the hospital to ensure she didn't have any hidden injuries. Right now, she's getting fluids and vitals, and her doctors are making sure everything is normal, her father Dominic said. She's a little distraught from not seeing her family for so long, about 24 hours, but she's definitely accepting all the love. She wants hugs and she doesn't want to be let down, so she's doing good, Dominic said. No one knows what Gabriella was up to during her 27 hours alone. The only thing that's certain is that she made it half a mile by herself and took charge of her own rescue. Regardless, she really was a lucky girl. She's only 2 and not overly verbal, so exactly what she experienced might be a mystery, Lieutenant Travis said. No matter what kind of adventure Gabriella had, her family is grateful to have her back. We would like to express our thanks to God for keeping our sweet Gabriella safe, Gabriella's mother said in a statement. Thank you to the countless public safety officers, first responders, and those that helped locate our girl. Surprised as they were, authorities told Gabriella's family that they've seen almost this exact situation happen before.